It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Hello and welcome to the Daily Shag. We're up here with I feel like Joe Biden right now. We're up here with episode number 7 of the Daily Shag. Thank you guys for joining me. We have a little bit to cover, or a bit to cover in a short amount of time, but we're going to get to it the best we can. A quick turn to the chat. Howdy, Eric Valhalla. How's it going? Good to see you. Nasmer is here for it, he says. He's here for it, but he is lurking and playing the best game of all time. I can only imagine what that is. But I don't imagine that it's the transphobic magic game that Eric Valhalla is playing. Jack-O-Lantern says, good morning, Shags. How are you, sir? Good to see you. And Lisa is in the chat saying, morning, Shag. Great to see everyone. I hope you're doing well. I'm happy to be here. We Okay, I think I'm back. You can't tell how mad I am. Hopefully I'm here. You can't tell how mad I am. I am like seething mad at this point. Because here, let me get these chats in here. I'm so incredibly mad that about this. I'm going to call Xfinity and be like, what is going on? Hello, Lisa. Good to see you. I'm back. Hopefully you guys can see me. I can see some chats came in. RC Scott was in the chat. Let's shag, baby. Jack Lander said, the fastest morning shag of my life, faster than Az's 38 seconds. It was a quick shag indeed. Hopefully you guys are able to hang out still. Chris Anth, what's going on? Hey, well, welcome. Hello. Technical issues, they do happen. The problem is it happens every single time I go live. So anyways, I was having a really good intro and I was feeling really good about this, but now I've lost the steam. But I will say I'm happy to be here. We're doing a quick morning show. We got a bunch of topics to cover with a little bit of time. So I do want to jump sort of into it, saving the main topic for a little bit later on. But what I will say is that people's attempt at being funny generally has been falling very flat. And I feel like woke comedians and people who are trying to, pull some humor out of these divisive race wars they're doing everyone a disservice. They're not funny. They're trying to capitalize on racial and class divisions, and it's pretty bad. Release McCracken, good to see you. Chris Anth says, Xfinity is awful and so expensive in society reviews. Hello, sir. How are you? Xfinity service is trash. Oh, it's bad. Like it was good for the first year. And then after that, it just almost every single time I go live, it just kaput out. What's up, Comics Division? Good to see you, man. So here we go. Who wants to see the big brain galaxy takes from personalities on Twitter? I know I do. I was really excited to see this morning because it made me realize I am not as stupid as I think I am. And a lot of these people just take the cake. They take it and run. They run right into the electric fence. So let's take a look at this. Let me share my screen because I fucking suck at what I do. Here we go. That's not that one. There it is right here. Copa says, pop it in to smash like buttons and throw a yo into the chat. What's going on, Copa? Good to see you. Here we go. Nina Turner with the Galaxy Brain take. The solution to homelessness is housing. The solution to poverty is money. Wow. Huh. Who, really? Is that it? Is that it, Nina? Good God. Guys, I don't know what to do with myself because without Nina, I would have been lost. But she doesn't stop there. As you can see, just down below here, she goes on to say, this might be her best take yet. People living in poverty are usually extremely skilled at money management out of sheer necessity. Let me tell you how incredibly wrong this take is. So I'm sure there's a few people who live in poverty who are organized. Maybe people who are skilled in money management. People who are skilled in money management do not live below the poverty line. If you are skilled in something, it means that you are able to do things that other people have trouble doing. It means you're able to put money in places that would save it, not expend it. This might be the dumbest thing anyone's ever written on the internet. Like, you can't even make this stuff up. People living in poverty are usually extremely skilled at money management out of sheer necessity. No, that's why they're in poverty, Nina. That's why they're in poverty. They don't possess the skills to manage their money. Because people, and this might be a controversial take, people do not learn to save money when they're wealthy. They learn to save money when they are poor. Learning money management is a skill. I can't even, like, this thread is like, it's so sad to even look at. You know, I'm glad she stopped. It looks like she stopped there with answering people. Because the person who said, but give money to people who don't know how to handle it, and they'll be poor in a day. Money doesn't solve everything. It's been tried since the dawn of currency. Absolutely right. Like, it's just, you know, I'm sorry to say, everyone, but you will learn how to save money when you don't have it. Because if you want to hold on to your money, if you want your money for a long period of time, you need to be good at not spending it. People who are poor, people who live in poverty, or, you know, even the homeless, we won't even go to homeless. We'll just say people who live in poverty are not good at saving their money. It is very easy. People are tempted all the time. That's what I mean, in some ways, what capitalism about is putting your product out there, making it the most appealing among a bunch of other people for people to spend money on it. The big issue is people who are bad at saving their money are looking to people who have insane amounts of money, that they have people watching their money for them. Or they did have someone watching. They made their first $1 million. They went and got an accountant, and they said, this is what you need to do to turn this money into even more money. It's money management. Personal money management is very, very difficult. It takes time. It takes repetition, and it takes failing at saving money till you learn the different areas that you can put money in order for that to gain on itself, you know, compounding interest, different savings tools, multiple income streams, all of that. But you've been told by many people, many very privileged people, such as Nina, that you just need to hold out your hand and the government will come and fill it with money that they've printed. Don't listen to people like Nina. But even better, you know, the things just get better. We have to really, you know, we have to prop up these wonderful people. And Sam Smith is one of these individuals that I can't quite figure out. I can't quite figure out what it is this Italian sausage of a man is trying to do. I just thought this was a funny tweet, and I thought, I saw it, now all of you have to see it. But this is what we are supposed to be working towards. This is what you should feel good about. I'm just going to take it off the screen. I want you. I saw it, so you guys have to see it, right? That's just how the internet works. I don't understand. I want people to be themselves. I really do. I do not understand the point of putting this front and center. Like why do we have to why does this have to be what people strive to be? And I worry that, like, again, this is not, don't confuse what I'm saying with, like, this person can't exist. This person can do whatever they want. My point is this is not a normal way of living life. The vast majority of people, like, could never get away with this. Sam Smith, for whatever reason, is famous, you know, for having a good voice and being able to take someone else's songs and sing them. That's great. I don't understand why this is being pushed as like, this is acceptable and you can be this if you want. I don't think it's a smart way to go. Like this, like if I were a parent, I am a parent today. If my kids were a little bit older and this came on TV, I'd ask them to close their eyes. I would say, you cannot watch this. This is not appropriate for you. This is barely appropriate for adults. This is barely appropriate for adults. And when I was a kid, like there was violence on TV. I had to shut my eyes. My parents didn't want me to watch, hyper violent, like Schwarzenegger movies or whatever it was. And even YouTube with his videos has said that this is acceptable adult, or this is acceptable content for kids, which is like him like gyrating and like dipping low or whatever the hell it's called. Like, I mean, the video, you could literally smell this guy's ass hair. Like, it was so gross. And again, I just don't think it's a healthy thing to push to your kids. Again, do whatever you want. Be the person you want to be in private. This is something you do in private. This is not something that should be strived to put out in public. And people are like, I mean, you just see like all the bright colors you see there now. There's like people who want like this to be acceptable. Like, oh, I could put this on my resume. Like, no, dude. This is weird stuff that you should do in the background, in the darkness of your closet. This is where this belongs, not out in the open for people to see. Not out in the open for people to see. Please. I also wanted to highlight, too, there was a story that Greg Price shared. AOC was questioning Yoel Roth and Vidya about certain things pertaining to Twitter. I don't know the full context of the hearing, but they were highlighting how, Representative Ocasio-Cortez was essentially lying, in front of Congress about this particular situation. And again, I'm not surprised. I don't think anyone's surprised by politicians lying. Right, left, it doesn't matter. All these people do it, and it's becoming a huge issue for me because people are not getting the full story. So in the interest of giving people a different piece of the story here, because again, she's of course not going to share it. And there's many different parts of this interview that I've watched where Yoel Roth, who's the former head of trust and safety, I bet, if I remember correctly, for Twitter. So let's take a quick look at Ocasio-Cortez and what she was saying with Yoel. Let me bring it back here and let me share it to you guys. Sorry. Oh, add to stream. Here we go.
Additionally, Ms. Navaroli, are you familiar with the account Libs of TikTok?
I have heard of it from the news, yes.
I've heard of it from the news. We are all aware of Libs of TikTok. And Libs of TikTok, by the way, for those who don't, for some reason, if you've been under a rock and you don't know who the Libs of TikTok are, they are an account who takes videos verbatim from someone else. They will just paraphrase on the tweet what it is they said and add their video. That's what they do. They take their words and put it onto their account. My internet's like flashing again. I'm about to throw something through the window.
Mr. Roth, are you familiar with this account?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Are you aware that from August 11th to August 16th, that account posted false information about Boston Children's Hospital, claiming that they were providing hysterectomies to children?
I love how like outraged she seems all the time. And again, Libs of TikTok posts videos from accounts that exist. They don't change the video. They post the videos from the accounts that they are talking about.
Yes, I am aware of that and other claims from the account.
And are you aware that this lie was then circulated by other prominent far-right influencers?
Far right. This is really important, just so you guys know. It's really important to label your opposition, right? At least for Democrats, is that we need to establish that these people are far right accounts.
Yes.
And are you aware that
He doesn't even flinch. Like, I think someone who's taking an objective opinion, like, you know, if Yoel was truly was worried about truth or trust, he would have changed what she said and been like, I don't know if they're far right, but I am aware that these accounts took said tweets and also retweeted them.
all these claims, which I have reiterated were false, culminated in a real-life harassment and ultimately a bomb threat to the Boston Children's Hospital?
Not one single person that you would come across online would say, even as a far right, whatever the hell far right means, would say that issuing a bomb threat to a children's hospital is acceptable. Nobody in their right mind would do that. I don't know one conservative that would say, "Oh, you know what? I don't agree with that, so we should, kaboom that thing." No, that is so. And again, she's not providing evidence for what's being said, right? She's not actually presenting the tweet.
Yes, I am aware.
And this account is still on that platform today, isn't it?
Regrettably, yes, it is.
Despite inspiring a bomb threat due to the right-wing incitement of violence.
So she said the Libs of TikTok account is still online, even though it inspired a kaboom threat. I don't want to say that word anymore. Like, you understand, like, again, and as far as I know, there's been no claim that because Libs of TikTok posted this particular thing, that this is why. She's asserting that because this video happened to exist on someone's account and they shared it, someone else took that as a means and an okay to create a threat against someone else. Not one person who has two brain cells to rub together actually believes that. They are making up problems in order to create controversy
Against trans Americans in this country, because they cannot let go of this obsession with fixating violence and inciting violence against trans and LGBT people, in addition to immigrants, in addition to women of color. This is the party that cannot pick on anyone their own side.
But what's funny and what people don't want to even acknowledge, and especially not Ocasio-Cortez, is she will not acknowledge the violence against children, right? She will totally glance over the fact that people want to commit actual physical harm to children who cannot make decisions on their own. They cannot make life-changing decisions on their own. She'll totally glance over that. Again, this is the problem with someone like Ocasio-Cortez, who is totally missing the point on the side of conservatives. There's a lot of conservatives who don't know how to articulate their points, and a lot of people who are just sort of playing the phone game where they hear something like 10 people removed and they're just sort of repeating it down the line, and by the time it gets to them, they don't fully understand what was actually said. This is a huge deal. This is why, like, I encourage people to just think on their own. They hear something, they don't like it, look into it more. Look into it more and see what it is that they're talking about. And I'll show you. So this is the tweet that was in question. August 11th, 2022 is when the tweet was shared. Oh, I'm going to go here so I can be here as well.
Gender-affirming hysterectomy is very similar to most hysterectomies that occur.
Gender-affirming hysterectomies is how she started that.
hysterectomy itself is the removal of the uterus, the cervix, which is the opening of the uterus, and the fallopian tubes, which are attached to the sides of the uterus. Some gender-affirming hysterectomies will also include the removal of the ovaries, but that's technically a separate procedure called a bilateral oophorectomy. And not every gender-affirming hysterectomy includes that, and people who are getting gender-affirming hysterectomies do not have to have their ovaries removed.
From the Boston Children's Hospital, where the world comes for answers, they're having this paid actor sit, smile, and tell you that they perform gender-affirming hysterectomies. Nothing's been changed. This is directly from the Boston Children's Hospital. You should, like, everyone, like, this is alarming. And again, Ocasio-Cortez doesn't give a shit about these kids. She does not give one shit about these kids who are going and getting their uteruses removed. Like, do people truly understand how, like, awful this is? Like, how awful of a procedure that is? Like, it has to be one of the very last things that any doctor should recommend you do. You're taking out vital reproductive organs. And they're talking about it as if, like, oh, you don't feel like a girl today? Let's just remove that. It's not like you open up a wall and pull out a pipe and then patch the wall. That's just like, and anyone who says it's just that, like, I don't think has ever had any sort of major or minor surgery for that matter. Like, I've had arthroscopic surgery in my shoulder, 1, 2, 3 little pinholes basically in my skin. The recovery from that was months. Like, it took a long time to get full mobility back into my shoulder. And I don't have full mobility still because I kind of screwed up the therapy. Libs of TikTok is exposing these companies for what they are. Like, there is almost no reason for a child, for anyone under the age of 18, maybe under the age of 25, to have their reproductive organs removed from their body. Like, it's not a reversible procedure. It's not a reversible procedure. You can't put this stuff back. Again, it's not pipes in a wall. And these representatives and senators who sit and treat it as if it were some reversible thing. Even hormone therapy, taking pills. Like, you see when I see some of these detransitioning individuals who are talking about their journey and how they were duped. Like, you know, their voices change forever. Oh. Age-restrictive surgeries must become a law now too. They need to start implementing something that
Gender-affirming hysterectomy.
Oops, sorry. They need to start implementing something that doesn't allow children to make these sort of decisions. And even, like, there even needs to be, like, even if a parent is willing to sign off on it for someone under the age of 18, this needs to be accompanied by, like, 2 or 3 doctors, like 2 or 3 people who said, yep, like, we understand that we went through many different treatments. We went through many different treatments, and now we know that this is the only way that their mental health will improve. And even then, like, you know, I would be weary. And of course, I don't know. It's not how I live my life, but my Lord. So the really funny part of all this that the main story I was going to get to with everything was centered around was centered around a board game. So was it 50 years ago in the 70s, a board game was created in the same sort of vein as Monopoly. So there was a certain individual that was a psychology professor, get into who he is exactly, but was saying, we're playing Monopoly one night and we realized that everyone starts with the same money, they start at the same level, but that just isn't true. Not everyone starts at the same level. So we're going to create a board game that focuses on race and privilege, and you are either privileged enough to have certain opportunities, or you are oppressed enough and disadvantaged enough to not have these opportunities. So it's harder for you to acquire certain properties, whatever. So Wired put out this article, Wired, and I don't think anyone is necessarily surprised, but so they write, is this socially conscious Monopoly game, race and privilege? Oh, sorry. In this socially conscious Monopoly game, race and privilege are currency. So this is going to be the anniversary edition that they're presenting here. They're currently running a Kickstarter for this. So if you want to buy into this game, you certainly can if you'd like. So the game is being revamped by a couple of what I would assume are woke comedians, one by the name of Jed Feynman and the other one, Nehemiah Marcos. So Marcos is the black half and Fryman is the white half, the very white half. So one of the cards reads, "You're listening and learning and your DMs are open. So brave, collect $50,000. So this game is obviously satire. It's meant to be like kind of is meant to be a spoof on Monopoly, but I think this is one of those things it's just not good for society. And I think, like many woke comedians, it's just not funny. The government begins an urban renewal project. Lose all property in the ungentrified zone. Reads one coined only for black characters. Right. So it's, so the character's race is crucial to the player's success in the game because when you're white, characters are granted a sum of $1 million to go and purchase property with, and then black characters are encouraged to pool together their assets in a form of collective action and are given just $10,000. That's $40,000. That's $40,000 short of the cheapest two properties. So you could see where this is going and just how stupid it is. And the history of this is explained that a UC Davis environmental psychologist was like kind of spawned this game out of the Watts Rebellion. And when that happened, they thought, there's all this stuff that's happening. There's inequalities in society, and this is a great way to highlight that in a meaningful manner. So they decided so you change the rules and introduce disadvantaged players just as many parts of the camp. So I don't have a problem with creating a game like this, but doing it along the racial lines, again, is the least helpful thing that you can do. You want to highlight injustices in America and teach history in a valid way, fine, do it. But there are plenty of extremely disadvantaged white people in Appalachia. Like the inner cities filled with disadvantaged Black, Asian, many different races. It is not exclusive to one particular race. There are things that we can look at that are more obvious than others. Like why are certain, what we can look at certain metrics and understand like these things are prevalent throughout different economic statuses, whether you're Black, white, or whatever. So his wife says the sad part is that so Robert Sommer is the creator, the original creator. His wife recently commented and said, the sad part is that things are not that different from 50 years ago. And again, I totally disagree. Totally disagree that things are different. And I was about to say, I am all for games like this that create handicaps, right? It happens all the time in video games. Like people will intentionally play video games with handicaps, challenge modes in different in the Souls games, for instance. I'm not going to level up, and I'm only going to level up my weapon, and blah blah blah. I got to learn the move sets. Purposely handicapping yourself. It's just something people do. It's okay. Go says, I want to be the poor black trans one-legged Muslim in woke monopoly. So the premise of the game is to include race and privilege and monopoly to make more realistic. Remains the same in the 50th anniversary edition. The design of the game has been updated to fit 21st century society as have some of the properties players can purchase, opportunity cards, spaces to land on, and political topics like reparations, which offers free money to lucky black characters, and gentrification, which confiscates the property of a not so fortunate black player. Players can also land on the peaceful protest space where whites have to dish out 20 grand to the reparations pool, and the black players get busted and taken directly to the police station. What? I missed that the first time I read it. So this was a game that you could get. It's currently in its Kickstarter phase. In the new edition, black players, unlike their white counterparts, cannot go bankrupt. If they do, they're kept in the game by qualifying for benefits financed for the pockets of the white characters. But when I played the game in a group of 6 with half of the characters being black, it felt like despite the fact that we couldn't technically lose the game, we were never really in the game in the first place. Even if we did manage to pool together. This is the problem, guys. This is the problem. I don't even want to read this anymore because it's fucking annoying. The problem with this type of thing, it's meant to be satire and be funny. Like you could actually sit down and have like a fun time with this game probably. But these guys are playing it unironically. They're sitting there and like the article is written in a way like, will this help? Like, is this what we need to do? The game is intended to balance on the edge of comedic exaggeration and a reflection of reality. These people, it seemed to the Never Said duo had missed the point entirely when they attacked blacks and whites for being unrealistic. It's a testament to how the internet has made us more divided. But if you dig it a little deeper, when you look at it, you might actually find out that there's a message to it. This was divisive. What? That it was divisive was the favorite trigger word for the people who said we were tearing the country apart. It's like we're actually doing the opposite. No, I just can't stand this, dude. Like they don't understand the actual, like the game is probably funny and it's probably fun to play. But like people trying to make board games into something they're not is a really big part of the problem. Just let it be a funny board game. Like I saw a Natasha Lazaro bit last night where she's on stage, like just totally making light of abortion and like calling out conservatives or something. It was just not funny. And even on TikTok, it was getting like ratioed. It was bad. Like, I don't care for this kind of humor. It's not funny. Like their idea of everything is just not funny. Like how there's a deeper meaning. Okay, maybe, but it's a board game. Have fun. These people can't have fun. I can't believe we're in a place where, again, you can't even play a video game without losers coming to your channel and being like, oh my God, bro, you're transphobe. Like, go away. Like like these people have nothing to do. They don't have a job to go to. They don't have people to take care of. They just sit there and their own self-pity, and then they go and make fun of other people because they think that's what they're supposed to do. Get effed, man. It's just it's clown world through and through. Totally clown world. I would almost invest in this game if I had IRL friends close to me that could like enjoy this. Like this is one of those moments where I would buy into this game, have people over, and we would live stream this game to our friends. Like I would 100% play this game if like I had people that I thought could really take the humor. Like this is I honestly think this is hilarious. I don't even think it's a bad idea. I think how people frame it, I think how social justice warriors frame this stuff is laughable. And I've even heard people say, like, you just have to laugh these people out of existence. You got to laugh at them because, or just ignore them. Because that's the only thing they don't like. They don't like being laughed at. I don't know. Play with Leon. Oh, dude, I totally would. If I could get Leon to my house, I would do it. I absolutely would play this game. You can't. There's a big divide in this country, and it gets bigger and bigger. And even people who claim to be trying to make light of it all they're losing the narrative. They're losing the way, and it's just watch. I want to try and find this video that I was looking at last night so you guys can see it. Let's go to my profile. Where are my bookmarks? Why can't I look at my bookmarks? Oh, this is a good one. Let me show you this one. Byron Donald fact checks entire panel of former Twitter censorship bosses to their faces. This was cool. This was like a really, really cool own. Hold on, let me share this tab.
You actually were opposed to deleting the New York Post story. Who advocated for the removal of the New York Post story?
The company's decision to treat it as a violation.
Mr. Roth, who at the company actually went over your recommendation? Because you're pretty high up. Who overrode you?
The decision was communicated to me by my direct supervisor.
Who was that person?
Her name was Del Harvey. She was
Okay.
the vice president of trust and safety at the time.
All right, thank you so much. Ms. Gaddy, real quick, you said to the chairman earlier, and I want to paraphrase what I heard earlier, is that Twitter had no contact with anybody from the Biden team. Is that correct to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge.
Put that up. Okay, over my right shoulder, we have an email. Reference, this is Saturday, October 24th, 5:39 p.m., referencing 5 different tweets. This is with a Twitter email chain. Under the line, it's more to review from the Biden team.
So they're referring to the Twitter files now, and they're trying to, I mean, they're obviously trying to paint them into a corner. And this guy does it masterfully, by the way.
Does anybody have a comment on how much interaction was happening with the Biden team?
So he wants to know how much were you guys communicating with the Biden team? They were contacting trust and safety and operating directly with government officials to censor people. That's what was happening. So they're asking the people who are basically the head of all this. So
At Twitter, with respect to tweets, that they wanted Twitter to review? Ms. Gaddy, Mr. Roth?
I'm not familiar with this email.
So you're not familiar with this email, Mr. Roth? Are you familiar with this email?
Only from what's been reported in the Twitter files.
Did you ever have contact with anybody from the Biden team?
No, sir, I did not. We explicitly separated the teams that would interact with campaigns from teams like mine that were responsible for content moderation.
How big was the organization in Twitter that was actually working with campaigns?
I couldn't say for sure.
Did you ever have any contact with the DNC?
Directly? No, I did not.
Did anybody at Twitter have any contact with anybody at the DNC?
I think it's likely that somebody at Twitter did, yes.
I find it interesting too that even now admitting like there were people that were interacting, there are people from Twitter interacting with either the DNC or the Biden administration or the Biden team. Like this is something that you really need to be worried about. You need to be worried that these companies are working against your best interest. They're not working for your best interest. They have an agenda. They're talking with people who control the flow of information and want you to see things or not. Remember that.
Emails this list that these are tweets that had to be flagged from the Biden team. That's what's in the files. You have no idea how many people actually engage with the Twitter team or how frequently that engagement happened.
No, and again, that was by design. We kept those functions separate from content moderation so that we could impartially assess reports like this.
Do you know how many tweets were actually flagged and taken down at the behest of the Biden team?
I wouldn't agree with the characterization of it as being at the behest of them. These tweets
It is absolutely at the behest of them. They sent an email saying, these are some tweets for your review. Please look at them, specifying exactly the tweets there are.
Reported, and Twitter independently evaluated them under its rules.
But the email is very clear. More to review from Biden team. The response 3 hours later at the bottom, hold this up real quick so you can see. The request at the bottom, it says, handled these. What does handled these mean?
My understanding is that these tweets contained non-consensual nude photos of Hunter Biden, and they were removed by the company under.
Hold on, real quick, Mr. Roth. How could you know so much about the content of these tweets? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, these are just web addresses. I don't know what's in these tweets. You have these things committed to memory that you know the content, but you don't know who you talk to at the Biden team?
Oh my God, I love it. I love it, dude. This guy just totally slam dunks him. You know the contents of these specific tweets, but you don't know who you had contact with or who in Twitter had contact with the Biden team?
Sir, I didn't meet with the Biden team, but there was extensive public reporting about these tweets specifically that uncovered what they were.
You know the contents of the tweets. It was obviously at Twitter, but you have no idea how often people who worked in your organization had with the Biden team during the end of the 2020 presidential scenarios. From
huge win for Byron there. Like totally roasted on like just in front of everybody, pulled his pants down, spanked him in front of everybody. Like these people are liars. I know they're trying to protect certain things, and I know they're probably committed to some sort of like NDA or can't speak on certain things. And if they did, people would be in a lot of trouble. I get it. He's trying to protect himself. This is why you cannot trust what's being said through these big social media companies. They control the flow of information. They can throttle tweets when they don't like what you say. The government and potential government leaders are working with them and silencing things that they don't want you to see. We're seeing it now, even with the EB stuff. Things are getting censored that are public. You might not like it, but they're public. They're being censored. You can't do that. It's public. Fine, take the pictures down of Hunter Biden because they're non-consensual and that's against TOS. Fine. No one cares about that. What we care about is the communication with government officials, with people at Twitter, because Twitter is the virtual town squares where people go for information, where people go for entertainment, and there's a lot of information going around there. Start looking at the things that you read, question it, don't stop questioning it, and don't stop questioning these people who claim to have your best interests at heart. They don't. They have the interest of lining their pockets with money. I'm not saying that's necessarily inherently bad to put money in your pockets, not at all. Don't mistake what I'm saying. But the only thing they care about is protecting their own ass, silencing opinions they don't like because they actually believe that words are violence. These people are cowards. They are cowards of the highest order. Don't fall for it. Listen, y'all, I love you. That is the end of my rant. That is the Daily Shag in a nutshell. I want to thank every single person who joined the channel today. I encourage you guys to go over to my locals. Check the links down in the description. I have locals. We have Discord. Many different places that you can support. Check out the merch that we have right now. We have an awesome design. It's Always Sunny on Wednesdays to support our show, the midweek hump. Please support where you can. Enjoy yourselves. Most of all, hit the like button. Share this video with your friends, the replay with your friends. It was a lot of fun chatting with you today. I hope you got a little bit of information about what's going on in the world, and we'll try and do more of these, at least 1 or 2 a week. I can't promise anything, but that's it. I'm taking the night off from content creation. I got a long day of work ahead of me. I'll see you guys either this weekend or early next week for a lot more fun stuff. I appreciate you. I love you all. Make sure you take care of one another, give each other a hug, love one another, and be cool. That's it for me. I am fucking gone. I'm gone, y'all. Yeah.
I like to put stuff online.